One-click taxi ordering without the help of an operator. Special taxi ordering smartphone applications are gaining popularity among Kyiv residents.
Когда вызываю такси, я пишу.
When I call a taxi, I inform the taxi driver that my 2 young children will be taking a trip. Therefore, my children are always wearing a safety belt, and most importantly, I can keep track of the taxi movement. The cars are always clean and comfortable, even if it is an economy class taxi. Drivers do not smoke, and they are pleasant in conversation.
Своим гостям я рекомендую.
I always highly recommend taxi ordering smartphone apps to my guests. Why? Because it's quite difficult for them to call and talk with a taxi operator in Ukrainian. They do not have a Ukrainian phone number. Instead, they call from a foreign number. They spend a lot of money because it's roaming. If you have Wi-Fi, you can always safely order a taxi and then keep track of its route till arrival. The Estonian operator that created the application has been operating in Kyiv for 6 months already. The advantages of the product are demonstrated in practice.
Вам видно, что я еду в другом направлении.
You can see that I am traveling in another direction, not those required by the client. That means I can't drive an extra circle to take extra money from you. We do not drive around. We go the way we're supposed to. The element of deception is excluded.
Исключен.
In some traditional services, taxi drivers are quite unreliable. They may not come to the call site. Sometimes it is impossible to contact a taxi operator, especially on holidays or in cases of bad weather.
Приветствует служба. Ожидайте, пожалуйста, соединение с оператором.
The online service guarantees the arrival of a taxi even for a short 5-kilometer trip. If there is a GPS, the taxi driver will arrive to the client even without an address. It is especially convenient for non-residents or foreigners. Non-cash payment is also provided.
Все электронное.
The public differs very much from cheap taxi services. Everything is done in electronic form, electronic passengers, electronic money. We need to take all orders. We have a lot of work to do. Both taxi drivers and their cars must pass rigorous standards of online taxi services. In particular, they only employ polite, friendly, and well-groomed people. Control over the quality of services is made by reviews of passengers in the same application. The bad taxi drivers are dismissed.
Просто ставит единичку.
If a client just puts 1 on the rating scale, we contact them and find out what's wrong. This is Europe. This is a client-oriented service. Quality standards are also observed by traditional taxi companies. Dress code, helping the customer with luggage, and respect and honesty by the driver are mandatory requirements. If the client, for example, is late due to the fault of the taxi driver, the money will be returned with compensation for moral damage. Passengers of licensed taxis are also insured against other problems. There were cases when clients flew away, leaving their phones in the taxi car. A month later, the phone was returned. It's not worth any money. An expression of thanks will be enough. Foreigners like to receive traveling allowance. A person that wants to bring a check to his company will be reimbursed for a taxi. Some traditional taxi services in Kyiv, along with the dispatching offices, have implemented applications for online taxi ordering. They are assured that 70% of clients, including foreigners, prefer to order a taxi by calling an operator. No application will give an opportunity to discuss the nuances. There are certain things that cannot be conveyed in the text.
Your price is 377 hryvnias. We will call you back in 20 minutes before the time and tell information about your order tomorrow in the morning. You're welcome, Laila.
In Kyiv, there are hundreds of taxi companies for any taste and budget. It makes over 20,000 cars available for service. The cheapest ones are unpretentious in their service and, as a rule, work illegally. Innovative mobile services offer mostly licensed taxis. Services are provided at an average price. However, for wealthy customers, there is a premium class taxi. A trip from the city center to Boryspil International Airport will cost about $100 US.